is calling for you. Hurry up and get to the hospital.
No way. After all, that kid is. I replied, looking at my son Mike, who was studying. There's absolutely no reason for me to rush to the hospital for that kid, who is a complete stranger to me.
What are you talking about? Just come quickly.
Mike is right here in front of me, isn't he?
Oh.
It seemed that with my words, Sam finally realized who he was calling.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were Mike.
Yeah. Well, let's talk when I get home about the future. Sam was speechless on the other end of the phone. Did he think he could keep it hidden for these 4 years? I know everything.
Kelly, wait a minute.
Ignoring Sam's plea, I hung up the phone. Well, let's get this done, I said, rolling up my sleeves and standing up. I'm going to make sure they regret it. My name is Kelly. I'm a 49-year-old office worker. I love working, and I've recently been promoted, which made me love my job even more. If I hadn't reconnected with my husband at this company, where I started as a fresh graduate, I probably wouldn't be married now. My husband, Sam, was my senior in college. But we hardly knew each other. He was just one of the people who came to help at the freshman orientation camp I attended. So, for a while after joining the company, I didn't even remember him and was totally engrossed in my work. Then, at the new employee welcome party, Sam approached me and I remembered him for the first time. Weren't we in the same group during college orientation? Don't you remember? Huh? Sorry. It's okay. I thought you were a pretty girl even back then. That's how our initial conversations went. And from the next day, Sam would wave at me whenever he saw me. Gradually, that turned into bringing snacks and then lunch, and eventually, we started going out together. I will definitely make you happy. I want to date you with marriage in mind, he confessed about 6 months after we started going out. By that time, I had fallen for Sam and happily accepted. Our relationship began. After dating for about 2 years and meeting each other's parents, we got married. It wasn't a passionate love, but it was a calm and happy time. That didn't change even after our son Mike was born. In fact, our happiness only increased. I truly thought marrying Sam was the best decision of my life. However, things started to change when Mike entered middle school. Sam started behaving differently. He was transferred to a different department, and overtime and weekend work increased. The department I'm in now is busier than yours, he would say defensively, even though I hadn't asked. I did find it a bit suspicious, but indeed, his department was known to be busy. I thought he wouldn't have time for an affair. So, I pushed any doubts to the back of my mind. But one problem arose from Sam's late returns. Taking care of Mike and household chores. Mike, though a middle school student and not particularly worrisome, was working hard at his studies every day, and I didn't want to just feed him store food. Reluctantly, I decided to reduce my work until Mike entered college. But when I talked to my boss, I was told it would be difficult to reduce my workload due to a lack of personnel. Not to boast, but I'm quite competent at my job, working about twice as much as others. If I were to leave now, the work might not get done. My boss suggested remote work instead and offered me a flex schedule instead of reduced hours. And so, I started working from home. When I told Sam about it, he smirked and said something shocking. Well then, you can take care of everything at home. I'm too busy, you know.
I'm working too, you know? It's okay if I have to do a bit more housework, but doing everything is just too much.
I argued back, but Sam didn't listen at all. True to his word, he started coming home even later after I began remote work. Every day, he'd come back late at night, reeking of alcohol, and I could smell perfume on him too. He must be out drinking with colleagues at nightclubs, I thought, and just tolerated it. But one day, I found lipstick on his shirt and confronted him.
Hey, there's lipstick on this. Whose is it?
Yeah. There was a woman sitting close to me at a party, maybe it got there then. What, are you jealous? I was just disgusted, not jealous. That's what I thought to myself. After that, I just ignored it whenever I found lipstick on Sam's shirts. 3 years of living like this, and by the time Mike was a senior in high school, my love for Sam had completely faded, and we were more like roommates. But there are some things you just can't forgive, even if the love is gone. Like what happened on Mike's birthday.
Where are you going?
Just up for a bit. No matter how busy we were, we always had dinner together as a family on Mike's birthday. So I had made a reservation at a restaurant, but Sam just headed to the door alone.
Wait. Today is Mike's birthday, you know?
So what? It's just the day he was born. I was stunned by Sam's words. He used to take anniversaries very seriously. Before we married, he always said he wanted to celebrate our child's birthday, no matter how old they got.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh, okay.
Sam left without another look at me. As soon as the front door closed, tears started to flow.
This is it. I want a divorce.
The words slipped out, but they were my true feelings. Mike and I enjoyed dinner together and then stayed at my parents' house. I didn't contact Sam, and considering there were no calls or messages from him, he probably hadn't come home yet. A father who neglects his son's birthday and leaves without notice is better off not being around for Mike's sake. I made that decision and told my parents. They understood after hearing my story. I had no intention of moving back home, so the first thing was to look for a new place. Luckily, I earn more than the average, and since my department mainly works remotely now, there's no inconvenience working from home. I started looking for properties while working. Maybe even buying a house might be a good idea. Looking at small, cozy houses, I felt excited for the first time in a while. Then one day, I decided to go see a property. Little did I know that this would accelerate my divorce from Sam. It's a nice place. Close to the station too. The area I was looking at was near the university Mike wanted to attend. Our current place was an hour commute, so I thought we might as well live closer. Mike is working hard to get into the university I attended. I didn't want to burden him unnecessarily. We'll move once he gets into university, I thought, as I stopped by a nearby shopping mall.
Hey, wait up. Huh?
I instinctively hid when I heard Sam's voice. In front of me, Sam was waving at someone. When I looked where he was looking, I almost gasped out loud.
Daddy, hurry up!
Hurry up! I saw a familiar woman and a boy about 4 years old. And there was Sam, running up to them with a gentle smile. It was the picture of a happy family on a holiday, any way you looked at it.
So that's it.
The timing of Sam becoming cold and neglecting his family matched the boy's age. Meaning, that boy was Sam's child, and the woman was his mistress. I couldn't stop a dry laugh. Though my love for him had already faded, somewhere I had believed he wouldn't cheat. But as Mike's mother, I couldn't afford to be shocked and stand still. I took a photo of the three of them and left the mall, searching for a detective agency while on the train. Then I went to an office near our house. I need someone to investigate. One is my husband, Sam, and the other is. I gave the names of the two people and handed over the photo I had taken earlier. Then I returned home and did my usual housework. Mom, what's wrong? You look pale. I'm just a bit tired. Don't overdo it, I'll help out.
What are you talking about? I'm fine.
I couldn't let Mike worry. I pretended to be strong and smiled through it. Just a divorce won't be enough, I'll definitely get revenge on them. I felt a rage I'd never experienced before building up inside me. Then, a few weeks later, the detective contacted me. The report was complete. I went to the detective's office and looked through the documents. As expected, the boy I had seen was Sam's child, and he had even acknowledged paternity. This was the worst. I was distraught. But another document given by the detective gave me a bit of hope. I'll send those two to hell, but only after Mike's university acceptance. I decided that and took the documents home. Over the next few months, I had the detective keep tabs on Sam and his mistress. It cost money, but that didn't matter. I'd just add it to the alimony later. Sam, not bothering to hide anything, took his mistress and child to various places. It seemed the mall visit was just a coincidence. The mistress's house was just a few minutes' walk from ours. And that house was in Sam's name. To keep his mistress so close, as if mocking Mike and me. Unforgivable. I said to myself. I'm going to make them bow their heads in front of me and Mike. With that resolve, I started making plans. The execution would be after Mike's university acceptance announcement. I began collecting evidence little by little, with that as my goal. Then, the day of Mike's university acceptance. Mike was studying in the living room, glancing at his computer. I watched him nervously. It should be any time now. As my heart raced, the phone rang. I hurriedly pressed the answer button. It was Sam on the line.
Kyle is calling for you. Hurry up and get to the hospital.
No way. After all, that kid is. I replied, looking at my son studying. There's absolutely no reason for me to rush to the hospital for that kid, who is a complete stranger to me.
What are you talking about? Just come quickly.
Mike is right here in front of me, isn't he?
Oh.
It seemed that with my words, Sam finally realized who he was calling.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were Mike.
That's okay. Let's talk when I get home, about the future. Sam was speechless on the other end of the phone. Did he think he could keep it hidden for these 4 years? I know everything.
Kelly, wait a minute, please.
Ignoring Sam's plea, I hung up the phone. Well then, let's get this done. I said, rolling up my sleeves and standing up. I'm going to make him regret it. Right after hanging up Sam's call, Mike turned to me with a smile.
Mom, I did it. I got accepted. Really? That's amazing. Good job.
Mike and I rejoiced, holding hands. Then, after celebrating for a while, Mike suddenly became serious and spoke up. I got into college now, and I'm not a kid who needs his father anymore. So, you should divorce Dad. Mike, you knew. Yeah, I knew. I was surprised by Mike's words. Turns out, he saw Sam and his mistress walking affectionately with a baby on his way back from school. At first, he thought it was just an acquaintance, but after seeing them several times, he realized it was an affair. I didn't tell you because I thought it would shock you. Mike. Thank you. Mom is fine. I always thought of him as my cute little boy, but Mike had grown up so much. I felt happy but also a bit ashamed as a parent. At that moment, we heard the front door open. Sam was back. I'm home. Sam entered the living room, trembling, and both Mike and I looked at him coldly. Sam turned pale, stopping just short of the living room. Still, trying to act normal, Sam forced a smile and talked to Mike.
So, have you been studying? Which college are you planning to go to?
Sam seemed to have forgotten that Mike was already in his senior year. Mike's gaze turned even colder. Sam, noticing the look, suddenly snapped.
What's with that look at your father? Who do you think is supporting you?
Mom, actually.
I've been contributing too.
A flustered father and a calm son. Clearly, Mike had the upper hand. Mike sighed deeply and pointed at the computer. I had my university acceptance today.
Oh, right. You're that age now. How did it go?
Do I need to tell you? Sam was clearly taken aback by Mike's words. Gaping, he stared at Mike. Anyway, why did you come back? I'm going out to dinner with Mom now. You should go to your mistress and her kid.
You knew?
Sam clearly hadn't thought he'd be found out, living so close. He just stood there, staring at Mike. Mike looked at him with disdain. A father who doesn't cherish Mom is no father. From now on, I'll protect Mom. You'd better agree to a divorce cleanly.
Mike!
Sam, clearly shaken by Mike's suggestion of divorce, looked at me for help. But there was no way I was going to help Sam.
Right, if you can at least pay for college, there's absolutely no reason for us to stay married. You too!
Sam, like a tragic heroine, burst into tears. Never have I seen a less sympathetic heroine. I looked down coldly at Sam, kneeling and crying. Mom, I want to eat steak. Sounds good. But when we started discussing dinner, Sam suddenly lit up.
I know a great place. Let's celebrate and make up for it.
I couldn't understand why I needed to make up with a man who cheated on me. Mike seemed to have the same thought.
Didn't you hear? I'm going with Mom, just the two of us. That's right. And I'd rather not go to a place you've taken them to.
Sam, who thought nothing was known, looked at us, wide-eyed in surprise. The detective had told me about the restaurant Sam and his company favored. So, I knew exactly where the place Sam mentioned was located and its name.
Why should we go to the place where you took your mistress? It's bad luck and distasteful.
My words clearly irritated Sam. But he had no intention of taking back what he said. Then, Sam, his face turning red with anger, glared at me and started yelling.
It's because of your attitude that Mike is cold to me. It's your fault for how you raised him. Who do you think raised him?
As Sam pointed at Mike, I sent him an even colder gaze.
That would be me. Well, maybe a little, but I also. To be precise, since Mike entered middle school, I've been covering his school fees, tutoring, and living expenses.
Actually, from the time Mike started middle school, Sam stopped contributing to the household expenses. At first, I would remind him. But after a few months of no response, I gave up saying anything after a year.
If you want to claim you've contributed to raising him, please pay all the backdated living and school expenses. There's no way I have that kind of money. Well, you seem to have been living quite lavishly.
I took an envelope from the drawer and handed it to Sam. It contained his banking records. Managing the bank statement has been my job since we got married. I didn't do it monthly, but I have been updating it more frequently recently. So, I knew all about Sam's finances.
You're using most of your salary every month, and you have debts too, right? I have no intention of taking on that burden. But a husband and wife are supposed to help each other, right? That's why we're getting a divorce.
You can't be serious, he added, and the color drained from Sam's face. Mike and I then grabbed Sam by the arms, threw him outside, and locked the door.
Goodbye, then. Wait! You can't just lock me out of the house!
Dodging Sam as he tried to cling to me, I got into the car. Mike approached Sam with a smile.
You're in the way, cars need to pass through here. What kind of son talks to his father like that? That's because I don't have a father anymore. Hey!
With a smile, Mike said goodbye and got into the car. Ignoring the dumbfounded Sam, I started the car and drove towards the sushi restaurant. A few days later, Sam had not shown up. There was a lot to do with the divorce and dividing assets, but for now, it was back to work. Just as I sat down at the computer, I heard a high-pitched voice from the courtyard.
Hey! I know you're there! Come out and talk to me!
Reluctantly, I stood up. I knew who the visitor was.
Please don't be so loud. It's a nuisance to the neighbors. You wouldn't come out, that's why.
The unapologetic woman was Juliana, one of the new trainees I had once supervised. And Sam's mistress. She should be at work today.
What are you doing here on a workday? I took a day off. I had to talk to you.
Twirling her hair, Juliana looked triumphant.
I'm taking Sam. You don't deserve him. And guess what? I'm pregnant with our second child.
She rubbed her belly. I felt a headache coming on.
Do you have any idea about Sam's financial situation?
What? Juliana looked at me, puzzled. I showed her Sam's bank statement, which I had shown to him earlier. Juliana skimmed through it and burst out laughing.
Stop joking, Kelly. I know he has saved up a lot more.
What are you talking about? Still laughing, Juliana then said something surprising.
Sam told me that after the divorce, he would give the house to Juliana and that she would get a lot of money from the property division.
So that was it. I understand now. But Sam was forgetting something crucial. I confronted Juliana with the truth.
Unfortunately, this house is in my name. And since he hasn't been contributing to the household expenses, combined with his affair, the divorce will be due to his fault, and there will be no division of property.
Plus, he'll have to pay alimony.
What?
Juliana was stunned. Her laughter was replaced by disbelief. I explained it clearly to her.
This house was originally my family home that we renovated. So, Sam has no rights to it. And with the alimony and the debt he accrued from his affair with you, there won't be much money left for him. It's a lie!
Juliana, in denial, quickly made a phone call. As soon as the other party answered, she shrieked into the phone.
Hey! This isn't what you said! You promised everything to me, right? Right now? I'm at Kelly's.
Sorry, could you let me talk to him?
What? Wait.
Thinking it was pointless, I snatched the phone from Juliana. It was Sam on the other line. I spoke in a cool voice.
How much more trouble are you going to cause? Kelly! It's not like that. It's because...
That's enough.
Another child, really?
You're busy.
Another child?
Sam seemed unaware of the pregnancy. After a moment of astonishment, he quickly said he would come over and hung up. Juliana, knowing that Sam was coming, was delighted.
Sam's coming? Great! He said we couldn't meet for a while. Kyle misses him, and I really want him to come home.
Where is Kyle now? Huh? He's at daycare today. Juliana seemed puzzled why I would ask about the child, looking slightly annoyed.
I heard he fell off the balcony.
Oh, just a fracture.
You left a 4-year-old alone? Got a problem with that?
Juliana responded defiantly, looking at me suspiciously. Then she cheerfully spoke up.
Come on, how long are you going to make a pregnant woman wait outside? Make me some tea in the living room.
I obliged her audacious request. Right when I made the tea, Sam entered the room.
Juliana!
Oh, Sam. I'm negotiating right now.
Just wait, I'll get the house. That's not for you two. You're late, Sam.
Juliana leaned on Sam and wrapped her arms around him. Maybe trying to show off, but I felt no envy.
Sorry, but I'm not giving up the house. But if I leave, this house will be too big for you, right? In what world does someone give up their family home, in their name, to their husband and his mistress?
Sam looked embarrassed at my words. Juliana quickly interjected.
The house we're in now is too small for me, Kyle, Sam, and the baby. You only have your son, right? Give it to us.
She was brazen even during training, but this was another level. I got tired of their antics and laid out several photos in front of them. Seeing the photos, Juliana's face turned pale.
Did you follow me?
Of course.
You're my husband's mistress. That doesn't mean you can take these photos.
Juliana tried to hide the photos, but it was too late. Sam, red-faced, grabbed one and confronted her.
What's this? Huh? That's just a friend. You go to the hospital arm in arm with a male friend? Well...
The photo showed Juliana happily arm in arm with a young man, exiting a doctor's office. They clearly looked like a couple or lovers. I kindly filled in the details.
That man is working at a nightclub, and you're his client, right? How do you know that? And you've been to a motel with him several times. That means the second child is...
Before I could finish, Sam stood up. He turned to Juliana.
You! I didn't know you were so promiscuous. Kyle isn't even my child, is he? It's over. I'm divorcing you. What about the money? He's not my child, so why would I give anything to her?
As Sam and Juliana began to argue, I smiled at them. Then, misinterpreting something, Sam gave me a sickening smile.
This was all a moment of madness. Now that it's clear he's not my son, it's over with her. So, we can start over, right?
What are you talking about?
Shut up. Get out.
Juliana, also infuriated by Sam's selfishness, resisted with a red face. Amidst this, I spoke calmly. That's impossible.
I never want to see your face again. Don't say that.
I physically can't stand it.
Just seeing your face makes me feel sick.
Sam seemed utterly shocked by my words and froze. Then I turned on the laptop I had left at the table's edge, smiling at them.
Here are the witnesses to your affair. What, Mom?
Juliana also exclaimed in surprise, Mom? I had actually connected them by phone earlier to discuss future plans. Juliana interrupted as I was about to have a work call.
What, Mom has?
I've heard everything. After all Kelly has done for you, you're a disgrace.
Don't ever set foot in her house again. So, that's it.
Sam, firmly cut off from his family, left the room without any energy to argue for reconciliation.
Mom, wait. I can explain.
I didn't raise you to be a homewrecker.
You'll be staying at your uncle's farm from tomorrow. What? No way.
Juliana's uncle runs a dairy farm, a place of non-stop work. It's known for its strict, where people work almost continuously without breaks. I feel a bit sorry that she has to go to such a place, but part of me thinks she got what she deserved. She ended up crying on the spot, and her mother came to pick her up. Once everyone left and quietly returned, it was already evening. I sighed with relief. Although I'm on a flexible schedule, I prepared for a late night of overtime.
I'm home. Welcome back. Hey, how about pasta for dinner? Sounds good. Where shall we go?
As soon as Mike returned, we began looking for a restaurant. Finally, everything felt over. Later, Sam and I divorced through our lawyers. He apparently also broke up with Juliana. My in-laws apologized profusely, making me feel guilty for their plight. We agreed to continue our relationship, which brought them to tears. Sam paid alimony for his affair and half of Mike's college fees. He seems to have further indebted himself and hasn't been seen around lately. I've received my due, so his whereabouts no longer concern me. It might be a bit cold-hearted, but I really feel that way, so I think it can't be helped. Juliana was taken to her uncle's farm by her relatives. She's been woken up before dawn and put to work, supervised by her uncle. She left the company shortly after. And it seems many are relieved. Her absence has even improved the efficiency of Sam's department's paperwork. Her children are being raised by her parents, and both are said to be the host's kids. Thankfully, Kyle's injury wasn't too serious and is now running around as usual. Hearing this relieved me. Sam was dumped as soon as his money ran out. Mike has successfully entered his first-choice university and is studying hard. He plans to start working soon to help with finances, which almost brought me to tears. As for me, I'm still dedicated to my job. A project I proposed was accepted, and I'm enjoying my busy life as its lead. Also, I've been approached by a man from the project's partner company, 10 years younger, who waited for my divorce. I've told him about Mike and my lack of interest in remarriage, but he's willing to wait. We've been having meals together, and I find our time very pleasant. Our tastes in food match perfectly, making me a little swayed. Mike even suggested considering remarriage with him, so I'm thinking about it more seriously now.
Mom, we'll be late. Right, we have to hurry.
We had a restaurant reservation. A gift from my mother-in-law to celebrate Mike's college entry.
Mom, I'm excited.
Me too. We laughed and got into the car, hoping this happiness would last. With that thought, I drove us to the restaurant.